Welcome back to the Plutosphere,
connecting decentralized technologies to the global economy.
We're here to bring you the latest from the leading commanders in the crypto space.
This week we welcome our guest Nicole, co-founder of Duelist King. Duelist King aims to transform the way that people play, participate and earn in card games through a top-notch gameplay, asset designs and advocacy for the sustainable future of Win2Earn.
Nicole, it's really brilliant to have you on. Maybe we could just start with a quick intro into Duelist Kings. You know, give us a little bit of the storyline. How did the idea come about?
All right, thank you so much for having me today, girls. I know it's been a crazy day back in London and also here in Vietnam, but I really appreciate your time with us. So but a little bit about Duelist King. So we actually have 4 members in our co-founding team. We used to work together, for almost 5 years, but we actually never thought of setting up a project together. But then I think back in June this year, we gathered back at an event. It's actually an event that I co-hosted. It's a hackathon for Cosmos in Vietnam, the very first of its kind in Vietnam. So Amazing. We actually thought about, why don't we get together after 5 years? Also, since we've been in the space for quite some time, so it might sound like a cool idea just to get together, build on what we've been able to achieve in the last couple of years. And actually, at that point, it was just the start of this, NFT craze. And then we thought that it sounds like a great opportunity, and we thought of a gaming platform first. Maybe some people didn't know about this because we started with the project as a platform for games in general. So a lot of us love games, and pretty much when we want to develop games, there are so many platforms, so many onboarding tools out there. But whenever it comes to navigating the space, people are still lost because they still don't know where to start. They still don't know whether they should apply blockchain and how they would be able to save resources and leverage all of the existing resources with blockchain. So we started with a platform called DK Network. So that's where we built up all of our, the cool stuff around the game, like with our fair distribution system, the DAO model, also with our random number generator and the Oracle. But back then, because it was still early, so we thought that people did not, really buy in the idea first if they cannot see any showcase. So we came up with Duelist King as the first showcase. So we actually deploy all of these, technical tools and infrastructure that we've got with Duelist King. So it, fast forward, we actually got around 15 investors on board. The most recent one being Phantom Foundation. So we built up the game.
Really cool people, haven't you? You've got Cardano, Polygon, Phantom, Kronos. How did you decide on these partners? And tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, of course. That also, dates back to the idea that we had with the platform. So we thought that since we want to build this, platform for game developers, why do we have to stick with one platform? Because basically, if you talk about blockchain and if you talk about gaming experience, people don't really have to know what kind of platforms or what kind of blockchains that they need to stick to. So we actually want to be one of the first multi-chain card games and games as well, for people to be able to enjoy the game without having to really know which kind of infrastructure is supporting the game. Yeah. So that's the reason why we talk with a couple of partners. So we talk with Polygon and also with Kronos, powered by Crypto.com. Also Phantom, we will launch on OpenFi, which is the Cardano launchpad, and also PancakeSwap. So we are having support from the BSC ecosystem too. So basically, those are some of the underpinning, I would say, infrastructure that we've got with the platform. So we will launch back in October. Got some nice number with our IFO back in, with PancakeSwap. So we got $640 million committed in our IFO. Yeah, and right now, we're still trying to, build up on the hype, offering, more liquidity mechanics for our community while we are waiting for the game to be launched in early Q1 next year. So lots of things to look forward to.
A lot of things to look forward to. Nicole, what's your opinion in terms of decentralized card games in comparison to traditional card games? Are there, I mean, we've spoken to quite a few different card games and they've all got a different outlook. Yeah. So it'd be really interesting to see what your take is on decentralizing and also virtualizing card gameplay.
I think that would be very interesting. I mean, there are 2 points I think that we would like to touch on. First is about decentralizing, and the second is about virtualizing, right? So for these decentralizing, one of the ideas that we've got, when we work with these, I think game developers, is that basically, if we just stick to the traditional kind of gaming space, it's very hard for, game developers and even gamers, to have a bigger voice in the game. So we think that at the moment, the traditional, or I would say the most typical kind of dynamic in a traditional game is that you just have to, follow the rules, the gameplay, and the game design that is predefined by the game distributor. So as a gamer or as a game developer, basically you have no other rights than, just to play the game, or I don't know, trade the cards and also earn some prizes from the battles. So how about, kind of making the space more flat, in which, the game developers, even the gamers and game distributors, they are kind of stakeholders of the ecosystem. So each of them, of course, they can make more of the values of the game by participating in the game. So for example, with our game, we do want to turn it into like a DAO governing model later, where people, as long as they stick in Duelist King, they will be able to vote for the gameplay, the game design, and they can actually, raise a proposal to make the space better. So that's the idea that we want to do with Duelist King. And we put the tagline of our game as democratizing NFT card game. And of course, decentralizing is part of the value, because we think that basically once we can incentivize people, with real incentives, we can actually have them to stick in a project. They can basically see the value and the future of the project. And then basically you can see how empowered people can be, either, they are a gamer or distributor or game developer. So I think that that's a very important, I would say, avenue, just to get more people engaged in the space. It doesn't mean that we want to compete with traditional games, because I think that in this space, there are still plenty of opportunities. And I mean, even the game developers, whether big or small, they can also be part of this, I think, evolving trend in the future.
The passion that you have behind the game anyway, it just comes off. And we speak with so many producers of games that just don't have that passion. So I think even just because of the passion and the excitement that you guys hold, that just puts you above the rest at the moment. I mean, if we could just go into a little bit about the artwork, because the artwork is pretty much what drew us in. We love the artwork, and we know that you've got your second set of cards dropping in 2 days, I believe. What can we expect from the artwork, and how do you dictate what's ready to go to market?
That's a very interesting question about like how we would kind of get the community to start with, maybe voting for the design later on. So I think with the artworks that we are doing right now, we have dedicated art team of 5 people who is just working on the cards. Actually, we are having 100 designs more in the pipeline that we will be able to do in a couple of rounds from now until the game is launched. And the thing is that we want to be as inclusive and as global in the card design as possible. So whether you come from, I think, Europe or Asia, or even like South America, you might be able to spot out some of the, I think, maybe demons and angels and characters that we have in our card collection. So we want to have like a decent card like a deck of designs to start with. So we want to be as diverse in terms of race, power, in terms of elements, and also in terms of the origin of the cards. And then once people can, kind of have a feeling of how the cards are being designed, later on we will be able to kind of show them, more options, and from there they will be able to pick their favorites. And we actually also have hosted some contests for card designs, and also later on with the card story. So the community will feel that they can see them in there. It's not us coming up with this game. It's their game as well.
Love that. That's so fun. What a great idea. Nicole, it's really nice to have you on. I think you're probably one of the first women that we've actually had on the Plutosphere. So I think you're the only woman we've ever had on the Plutosphere. It's a big deal. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think you are literally the first. Okay. So it's really nice. Can you tell us about you and how you got into crypto?
Okay, so I joined the blockchain space since 2016. So I worked with our co-founders at one of the largest and earliest blockchain startups in Vietnam called Infinity Blockchain Labs. I was with them for 3 years, hosting a lot of these meetups, conferences, and events and marketing initiatives when there was literally no blockchain, kind of proper or legit blockchain activities around. After that, I moved to Bangkok and set up a venture and also a media called Asia Blockchain Review from scratch for
Amazing.
2 years. And then before Duelist King, I was the head of international marketing at Toko Crypto. So that's currently the largest exchange in Indonesia. And they were also backed by Binance and also one of the more emerging players in the Asian scene right now. So really happy to bring all of those connections here.
Yeah, what backing to come from an exchange to create your own token. We're on to a win. Fantastic. So can we just go into a little bit before, obviously we've absolutely loved having you on, but maybe we could just talk a little bit more about timelines, what we're going to be expecting, and also your opinion of what we're going to be expecting from the P2E space. What's next to come, do you think? Where are we going with this?
So with the project timeline, so we're going to have the player versus environment, which is the first version of the game coming out in Q1 next year, followed by our player versus player and the multiplayer feature. That's going to allow us to host tournaments and battles for people because, one of the core, I would say one of the core fun and interest of the trading card game is battle. It's not fun if you cannot really battle against your friends or your colleagues, right? Yeah. So that will be the timeline that we have. And by the end of next year, we're thinking of, we are planning to also roll out the DAO model so that, the people in the community would be able to start, having the voice heard in the game and in how the game is going to be rolling. So that will be the project timeline. And with the trend, I would say that play to earn, actually, it has been quite successful at the beginning when they help entice more newbies and more, I would say, curious new crypto users into the space.
Definitely, mass adoption has grown.
Yeah, mass adoption, and I think that further down the road, actually, I think that there would be some iterations would be needed. So one of the things that we want to do differently versus at the P2E games is that we want to offer another model called Win2Earn. That's also very related to the nature of the trading card games that we are working at. But we also think that, basically, at the end of the day, if we talk about decentralization, if we talk about empowerment of people, basically, we just want to be like a platform in between, kind of facilitating the battlegrounds and the platforms for people to be able to participate. But the incentives for people to join the space would not come directly from us. It should come, from the users and the gamers themselves. So we want to advocate for a trend where people will be able to gain more incentives if they participate, if they engage more in the game. And I think that will be also very close to the traditional space where the distributor would be more like a platform maker. And then everyone, I would say the winners are going to win money off the losers. And people will be able to kind of contribute, into the game. And the incentive flow would be more sustainable in that sense. So I think that's one of the trends that we would be able to see with play to earn. But definitely this P2E is going to last for some time, thanks to the mass adoption it brings. And secondly, with the platform that I've mentioned, so we want to see more indie and smaller game developers coming in. So, it's not just going to be like a game between or among the AAA game studios anymore. We're having them to pave the way for more adoption. But then basically, I think everyone's going to be able to find their own kind of way to make money or make business out of the space. So we hope that that's going to give more power to the smaller game developers to build their games with less resources onto blockchain. And that definitely will create more mass adoption, I think, much further than what we've seen right now.
Definitely. That would be incredible. I mean, I think you're right. It's going to just carry on growing and growing and growing. Now there's a reason for people to join other than for fun you know, it's definitely going to cause a hell of a lot more adoption in the coming months. So, I mean, it's been wonderful having you on. How can our followers and community keep up to date with what you're doing? Where's the hottest channel for people to receive your announcements?
So right now, I would say Twitter is the most, I think is the easiest way to keep in touch with us. Yeah. And also Telegram and Discord. And our handle, there's only one single handle that you need to remember. That's Duelist King NFT. So not Duelist King, not other Duelist NFT, but it's Duelist King NFT. So please
Duelist
write them down.
NFT.
Yeah.
We'll put, we're going to put all the links. We're going to put all the links, don't worry.
Yeah, thank you. And we will definitely keep you up to date with our card sales. And we have weekly games as well to keep you entertained. You will not be bored, I promise.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you on. It's been awesome having you on, considering you're our first female.
It's amazing.
I love that. Well, in her throne. That's the best.
Yeah, in your crown. Your is perfect.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, Nicole. Nicole, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, girls. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much, Pluto, and also for watching. Don't forget to follow Duelist King below, and we will be back with more from the galaxy of Pluto soon.
Give us a like, give us a share, and subscribe.